Well, first of all, I read it as many times as I can. Better, it's before the first picture, you know, like the first group read through it and everything. I try to read it 5 to 10 times before we do the first rehearsal, before I ever worry about getting off book or anything like that. Once I've read it at least a couple of times, I'll start thinking about character arc. You know, like what the grand arc is of the character for the entire show, then what the mini arcs are for each beat. I'll start breaking the script. By about the 5th or 6th time I'm reading it, I'm breaking it down into beats. You know, figuring out what the changes are occurring as far as like what the character's goal is, and what obstacles are in their way, and what tactics they're using to get around the goal. So yeah, I do a lot of script analysis. I am blessed and lucky that I am awesome at cold reading. Like, whenever an audition for theater is cold reading, I could pretty much get it. I'm a really good cold reader, probably just because I'm such a book nerd, but it's a skill set some people have and some people don't. Some people just aren't good at cold readings. You know, you can throw a script at me, and it won't be fully analyzed, but I'll give you a character right away. And that also probably comes now from doing 13 years of voiceover work, where they do just throw the script at you. And you're like, okay, I've got 20 seconds to look over this really fast before we start. But yeah, you do have to think on your feet, you have to think fast, you have to be able to just say, okay, you know, the producer gives you a little tiny 2-sentence description of your character, and you've got to invent the voice and go from there. Yeah. Not really. It's always been pretty straightforward. I will say there's been some characters that I've come to the show already knowing them so well that I didn't bother to go through as much as I've been through before. So, like, one was Mark in Rent, right? And another was Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Show. And these were two characters that I knew so well coming into the show that I didn't have to do an analysis. I already knew the shows back and forth. A trick that I really, really like when I feel like I know the character too well, and I'm worried about maybe it's going to get stale, or maybe I won't come up with anything new, I won't bring anything to the table in rehearsals, is I give them a secret. So, like, you give your character, there's a secret that only you know about, and nobody else in the cast knows, the director doesn't know, and the audience doesn't know. But you know that secret, and because you know that, it gives you extra subtext for it. I just did a play like that recently called Our House by Teresa Rebecca. In fact, she writes Smash. Yeah, and her style, do you know David Mamet? Do you know about it? Okay. It's Mamet-esque style, and what that is it's very sort of off the cuff, fast. And it's called Go on Stage, Say the Words, Leave. And because if you bring any acting to it, if you try to make moments out of it, you miss the rapid fire of the dialogue. So once you give in to that, okay, I've got the lines, I'm off book, I'm just going to go out there and say the lines. You just sort of vomit the lines out. And then you start to realize you do start having shades of different things start to happen. But the way you begin with a Mamet play or with Teresa Rebecca is you literally walk out on stage, you do your blocking, you say the lines, and you don't overthink any of it, and you leave. And that I'd never done that before. I'd done, you know, shows that were a little more fast-paced or something like that. I'm so used to, like, you know, you fall in love with the language of the play, and you really play the language, and you don't do that with her. It's written perfectly already. Like, the style, it's a very specific style. It's just really rapid. And it was really challenging, because especially being a voice actor, I'm used to really paying attention to text. And really, like, especially when you narrate books, you get really into the text, and the director just kept saying, you've got to just say words. So he was saying it to all of us. We were all kind of struggling. Like, just say the words, and it'll happen. It was really weird.
Reevaluating.
Yeah, it really changed my approach. A play is something that can only exist in front of a live audience. Theater is its own really special world, right? And you're working with immediacy, and you're working with, you know, the audience is an organic part of the play, whether you're breaking the fourth wall or not. So a theater piece, to me, a good theater piece, is something that's written with all of that in mind. That it's kind of this living, breathing organism that sort of changes from night to night. And it depends on the audience, and it depends on the mood of the actor. depends on what choice. Like sometimes your choices change. Sometimes you're going through the motions of the play, and for some reason someone makes a different choice, and it can change the whole night around. You've got a framework that you play within, that the director has told you, you know. But within that framework, you've got this whole organic, living, breathing thing, and I think that's what makes a play versus dubbing anime or doing an audio or doing a commercial or doing a film. I think it's all about giving life to a three-dimensional, living, breathing organism that, you know, where you're in the same room with these people that are telling you the story. You're not removed from them at all. In fact, you're kind of like, sometimes they're right in your face and you're in their face, and there's nothing like it.